In our new video, you will visit the heart of Mexico, where among the dense jungles and endless plains lie majestic pyramids that have kept their secrets for centuries. These stone giants, like guardians of ancient knowledge, rise above the ground. Their silhouettes contrast with the bright sky, and their shadows stretch for kilometers. Every stone, every crack in their walls whispers of long-gone civilizations, of rituals that once filled the air with the sounds of drums and the voices of priests. But what is truly hidden beneath their massive foundations? What mysteries and treasures await those who dare to look into their depths? El Tajin. Imagine the jungles of Mexico, dense and mysterious. Hidden in their depths is El Tajin, an ancient city seemingly frozen in time. Archaeologists found it by accident, as if it was waiting for its story to be told. 50,000 people once lived here, and now only the ruins whisper of its former glory. The city is called the City of Thunder, and at its center rises the Pyramid of the Niches, dedicated to the Thunder God. Imagine 365 steps lead to the top, like an ancient calendar, and around it, 364 niches full of mysteries. But El Tajin holds not only wonders, but also dark secrets. Archaeologists found traces of sacrifices, a yoke, and palm trees that were used in eerie rituals. And here's the most interesting part. Among all these grim findings, archaeologists discovered an image of a laughing man. Such an image is found nowhere else. What does it mean? What secret is hidden behind this smile? El Tajin, like a riddle, awaits its solution. Time relentlessly destroys its remains, but the hope that we will uncover its secrets is still alive. Tula. From the jungles, we return to the heart of modern central Mexico in the state of Hidalgo. The remnants of an ancient civilization, whispered about in legends, are hidden here. Archaeologists exploring these lands find them in an astonishing state, as if time has bypassed them. Tula. This is not just an archaeological zone. It is a treasure trove of the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl, the ancient city of the Toltecs, where step pyramids, temples, and warrior sculptures hold unsolved mysteries. It is said that this city was home to the Toltecs, the people of the Reeve, who worship the mighty Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Legends say that the god himself founded Tula, and people offered him gifts, hoping for his favor. In the 11th century, Tula reached its peak, but by the 13th century, the city was destroyed and seemed to vanish into the earth. What happened? Could it be that the gods turned away from the Toltecs, as the legend says, and they abandoned their home? Or perhaps, was it something more secretive? In the 20th century, archaeologists rediscovered Tula, and before them appeared an entire city with streets, temples, and tombs, as if frozen in time. The enormous pyramids, adorned with images of jaguars, eagles, and snakes, are striking in their magnificence. But Cholula holds many secrets. The sculptures of the warriors of Quetzalcoatl, buried in the earth for centuries, seem to silently guard their secrets. What really happened in this mysterious city? Maybe one day we will find out. Tzintzuntzin, a mysterious city located in the Mexican state of Michoacán on the eastern shore of Lake Pátzcuaro. At an altitude of about 2,000 meters above sea level, it is nestled just 15 kilometers north of Pátzcuaro and 60 kilometers west of the state capital, Morelia. This city, founded by the Purepeca people in the 13th century, became the capital of a state known as Tarasca. And its name translates from the Purepeca language as the place where hummingbirds live. But what does this mysterious corner hide? The area of ancient Tzintzuntzin was about 7 square kilometers. And on its slopes, remnants of multi-tiered pyramids were found, which the Purepeca used for rituals. These pyramids, known as yacatas, had various shapes, from rectangular to T-shaped, which gave them a special mystery. In those times, the city's population ranged from 25,000 to 35,000 people, and around Lake Pátzcuaro, there were 91 ancient settlements, among which Tzintzuntzin was the largest. However, in 1522, when the Spaniards first set foot on this land, Tzintzuntzin was no longer safe by 1529. Under the leadership, not de Guzman, they burned the ruler of the Tarascan state, Tangaxuan II, alive and destroyed the city, using its stones to build Catholic cathedrals and administrative buildings. But even after this destruction, the shadows of ancient Purepeca rituals and burial practices still lingered in the air, and the partially preserved pyramids held unsolved mysteries. Tzintzuntzin remained the capital of the Purepeca until the bishop's residence was moved to Pátzcuaro. in 1540. But what happened to the city after its destruction? What secrets do its ruins hide? Questions remain, and since Unsen, TZN continues to allure researchers, leaving behind a trail of intrigue and dark legends. Teotihuacan. Imagine a vast city hidden in the shadow of majestic pyramids, just 50 kilometers from modern-day Mexico City. This is Teotihuacan, a place full of mysteries and ancient secrets. We all know the Aztecs, but few consider that these grand structures were built long before their arrival. The Aztecs only gave the city its name, the place of the birth of the gods. But who were its true creators? 5th century BC. The first settlers appear in this place, and over time the city transforms into a true metropolis. But what happened next? Why was this vast and thriving city suddenly abandoned in the 7th century? No traces of war or uprising have been found. The pyramids of the sun and the moon, like giants, silently keep their secrets. The pyramid of the sun, oriented towards the sunset, seems to bid farewell to the departing sun, plunging the city into darkness, while the pyramid of the moon whispers to the wind, but its secrets remain unrevealed. Even the cult of the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl, which reigned in Teotihuacan, leaves more questions than answers. What truly lies behind this name? What was its role in the life of the city? Teotihuacan is like a huge puzzle that we are only beginning to piece together. It entices us with its mysteries, prompting us to ask questions and seek answers. Zacacalco? On the site of an ancient pre-Columbian settlement shrouded in mysteries, the city of Zacacalco was founded around 200 BC. On the slopes of the hill, by the 8th century, a temple of the feathered serpent arose, along with majestic palaces and pyramids that still hold the darkness of forgotten rituals. Zacacalco, which in the Nahuatl language means place of the house of flowers, became a city-state in the 7th to 9th centuries in the west of the state of Morelos in Mexico. It emerged on the site of earlier settlements that existed from the 2nd century BC and until the 5th century AD, and it was built on artificial terraces rising above the valley of the Timbembe River. The flourishing of Zacacalco, which began in the mid-7th century, coincided with the fall of Teotihuacan, when this city, along with Cholula, became the center of central Mexico. It is possible that part of the Zacacalco elite consisted of Teotihuacans, who relocated here during those dark times. At the peak of its development, the city's population exceeded 50,000 people. But what happened to its inhabitants when it was burned and abandoned? The entrance to the Acropolis, guarded by walls with a bastion, led up a ramp paved with 255 relief slabs depicting mythological animals and birds. The Acropolis was built up with temples, palaces, noble residences, and administrative buildings, adorned with reliefs and murals that created a unique style incorporating elements of the visual arts from Teotihuacan, Monte Alban, and the Maya. Here there were altars, underground granaries, and even a water supply system. But what was hidden behind these majestic walls? The Acropolis housed two large plazas. One was intended for public festivals, and the other for rituals involving the nobility. The Temple of the Feathered Serpent, the patron of the military aristocracy, was surrounded by reliefs depicting rulers with mythological symbols. In the highest part of the Acropolis was the ruler's residence. But what happened within these walls when the sun was shining? On the lower terraces were the dwellings and workshops of artisans who created pottery and jewelry. In one of the caves dug into the hillsides, there was an observatory and a temple where, for 105 days, the sun's rays penetrate through openings and project onto the floor, creating unusual optical effects. But what secrets were hidden in these shadows? Around the 9th to 10th centuries, the city was burned and quickly abandoned. In the temples and palaces of the Acropolis, there are traces of deliberate destruction, while the dwellings of the lower classes on the slopes remained untouched. In the 12th century, the Nahuatl-speaking Tlahuica came to the Morelos Valley in Zacacalco. But what did they find among the ruins, and what mysteries remained unsolved in this enigmatic place? The Cholula Pyramid, Tlacahualtepetl, majestic and mysterious, is the largest by volume in Mexico. With its impressive dimensions of 440 meters in length and 77 meters in height, it towers over the surroundings like a guardian of ancient secrets. Dedicated to the feathered serpent, a cult that originated in Teotihuacan. Even before our era, this pyramid holds many unsolved mysteries within. In the 20th century, archaeologists, like treasure hunters, managed to awaken this buried structure, discovering its secret tunnels, which now attract curious tourists. But what else does this Great Pyramid of Cholula or Tlaquehualtepetl, which translates from Nahuatl as man-made mountain, conceal? The enormous complex of ancient structures, now mostly buried underground, holds many secrets. According to some sources, it is indeed the largest known pyramid by volume, listed in the Guinness Book of Records. The height of its step structure reaches 66 meters, 55 meters above the current ground level, and the base measures 450 by 450 meters. Although it is significantly shorter than the Pyramid of Khufu in Giza, its volume, according to some estimates, exceeds 1 million cubic meters, which inspires awe and wonder. The construction of this complex began in the 3rd century BC and continued until the 8th century AD, when the pyramid was dedicated to Quetzalcoatl. The architectural style, hidden under a layer of earth, resembles the style of the pyramids of Teotihuacan, but also has connections to the architecture of cities on the Gulf Coast of Mexico, especially El Tajin. At its peak, Cholula was the 2nd largest city in Mesoamerica, and by some estimates, it could have housed up to 100,000 people. However, unlike Teotihuacan, Cholula was not completely abandoned. In the 8th century, when the population sharply declined, maintenance of the pyramid ceased, although it continued to hold its religious significance. But what happened to its inhabitants? What secrets and rituals remained in the shadow of its majestic walls? The Tlaquehualtepetl pyramid continues to allure researchers, leaving behind a trail of intrigue and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Monte Alban. Monte Alban is a mysterious and majestic settlement hidden in the mountains of the modern state of Oaxaca, where time seems to have stood still. Founded in the 4th century BC, this place holds many unsolved mysteries. At the hilltop among the clouds rise step pyramids, and the ruins of ancient palaces and staircases, like ghosts of the past, whisper of bygone times. The main pyramid, standing at the very top, is dedicated to the rain god Cosijo, and its mosaic walls, once gleaming, are now covered with the dust of ages. Monte Alban, situated at an altitude of about 1,940 meters above sea level, was not just a city. It became the center of the socio-political life of the Zapotec civilization, playing a key role for nearly 1,000 years. But what happened to this once thriving place? By 500 BC, Monte Alban was already the capital of a powerful state that governed most of the Oaxaca highlands and interacted with other civilizations, such as Teotihuacan. However, by the end of the Classic period, around 750 AD, the city lost its significance and gradually fell into oblivion. Its streets became deserted, and the majestic buildings became mere shadows of their former selves. Despite a small resettlement during the colonial period, when the old structures and tombs once again attracted attention, the mysteries of Monte Alban remain unsolved. Archaeological excavations conducted by Alfonso Casoin. The 1960s confirmed the connection of this place with the Mixtecs. But what really happened to its inhabitants? Why did they abandon their homes, leaving behind only ruins and mosaics that now remain silent about their secrets? The etymology of the name Monte Alban is shrouded in mystery. Some suggest that it originates from the Zapotec word Danabon, Holy Hill. Others associate it with the name of a Spanish soldier or with the Alban Hills in Italy. But the true name given to this place by its first inhabitants is lost to the ages. Palenque. Returning to the shadowy depths of the jungle, where time seems to have stood still, the Maya tribes founded the mysterious city of Lacama, now known as Palenque. In 100 BC, this once thriving city was swallowed by the earth, hiding its secrets under a veil of excessive rainfall. It was not until 1746 that Spanish archaeologists, making their way through the dense thickets, stumbled upon more than 1,000 architectural monuments left by this ancient civilization. On a 10-meter platform stands the palace, and nearby are the Temple of the Leafy Cross, the Temple of the Sun, the Temple of the Cross, and the Temple of the Inscriptions. All of them hold unsolved mysteries and whisper of past grandeur. The first settlements in Chiapas date back to the 5th millennium, before our era, and the Maya appeared here, around 2000 BC. But where did they come from? The origin of this enigmatic civilization is shrouded in mystery. Some researchers claim that its roots lie in Guatemala, others on the Yucatan Peninsula, or the coast of the modern state of Veracruz. The peak of Palenque's prosperity came in the 7th to 8th centuries AD, when power in the city belonged to the nobility, the royal family, priests, and military leaders. The society consisted of farmers who, by paying tribute, became ordinary warriors during wartime. But with the growth of military power and the development of trade, new social groups emerged: craftsmen, merchants, and slaves, each of whom kept their own secrets. The name, Palenque, is not ancient but Spanish, meaning fence or palisade. In the first millennium AD, the city was called Nakan, or Snake City. However, the most intriguing structure here is the Temple of the Inscriptions. In 1952, archaeologist Ruslu Wheeler made a sensational discovery. In this temple, a stone sarcophagus was found, supported by 6 pillars and covered with carved images. This gigantic sarcophagus became a true archaeological sensation, akin to the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in Egypt. Inside the sarcophagus lay the ruler of the Bakal kingdom, Kinich Pakalai, known as Pakal the Great. Among the bones of the human skeleton, jade ornaments, and a mask made from a mosaic of jade plates and shells were found. Scientists were able to restore it, and it seemed to be an exact portrait of the deceased. All the treasures of the tomb were transferred to the National Museum of Anthropology in Mexico City, but the mysteries of Palenque continue to allure researchers. What else is hidden beneath the jungle's cover? What secrets do the ancient stones hold, waiting to be uncovered again? The majestic pyramids of Mexico, standing at the intersection of time and space, continue to hold many mysteries and enigmas. These grand structures, created by the hands of ancient civilizations, not only served as places of worship but also reflected the complex social structures, cultural achievements, and spiritual beliefs of their creators. Today, as we explore the ruins, we are not just studying stones and architecture. We are immersing ourselves in a world where every stone breathes history and every crack in the walls whispers of times past. But despite all our efforts, many questions remain unanswered. What really happened to these civilizations? Why did they abandon their majestic cities? What secrets are hidden within the depths of these ancient structures? As we continue to seek answers, the pyramids of Mexico remain a symbol of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge, reminding us that history is not just the past, but a living, breathing legacy that continues to influence our present and future. Thank you for being with us. See you next time.